Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You need that fear.
All I'm trying to do is make a stand for something that I truly believe is right. I truly believe is right. I don't want to be like you. Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the cashed out. I hold the record for pay-per-view.
My drop, I know my drop, I know my situation.
Production.
But it's gonna be very difficult for both of us.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio, spontaneous edition. So if you didn't get the ping, it's because you haven't subscribed. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you get your notification. We're here today to talk Mayweather versus McGregor, landing on Sky Sports box office to show Floyd Mayweather's Las Vegas fight versus Conor McGregor. Actually, we're not here for that one. I am really dropping the ball. That's later on tonight, so that's actually a preview. All you got to do is be here at 7:30. We're actually here to talk about Terence Crawford and Indongo and how Crawford is a 10-1 favorite. And, I kind of did this show to mess with my co-host because we all know that he picked Indongo way back when he got in there with Edward Trotsky. And, he was feeling high on his horse, definitely put himself on a super duper pedestal. Sometimes when he rants here, he's like, I'm the only one that picked Indongo. He just comes out of nowhere with that. So it's like, oh, your infamous pick is a 10-1 underdog. Let's discuss it. So why not introduce him? None other than the hipster never make a mistake, Hunter.
Dollar DiBiase Production.
This is a beautiful performance against a very tough guy in Michael Johnson. How do you feel about it?
Fuck that. Conor McGregor.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You know me, Larry. From a wicked entrance, from a flip over the rope into a knockout. Now, when the main thing is, I just hope the guy, I wish.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Yes, the hitters here. Haters beware. Julius Indongo, a guy that I picked way back in the day against Edward Trotsky. I picked him obviously against Ricky Burns as well. 10-1. And I know you sort of started this whole show with, putting out the idea, the narrative that I have to pick Indongo. That because I picked him in a fight, eons ago, where he was an underdog, he was the unknown, I got to pick him in this fight. But you do also know, Ness, because, we're on the show so much together, how much I love Terence Crawford, how much I value Terence Crawford, how much I think highly of him, how much I think that he can do in this sport. I think he is the next guy in terms of skill in the sport. I've been saying that for a very long time. He's the next Floyd in a lot of ways. Stardom is not one of them, but in terms of skill, he's the next Floyd of our generation.
Keith Thurman.
It could be Keith. It could be Crawford. I don't know. But so that, these numbers 10-1, I do think they are a little bit too wide, especially if we're comparing them to other fights that are around the same time or maybe in the same month. Because in the same month, we have another fight, Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which we'll talk about in a couple hours. So if you missed this show or see the show and you want to get more content at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to talk about Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather. That fight has much closer odds. And you have literally the best of his generation, the best in the past 20, 30 years, up against an 0-0 boxer. But those odds are closer than this one. Julius Indongo is undefeated. Julius Indongo has proved that he has at least somewhat of skill, power, talent. So the idea that this guy is a bigger underdog than Conor McGregor makes no sense to me. However, Julius Indongo is the rightful underdog. Terence Crawford should be in around the 4 to 5-1 range, I would say, for betting odds. I mean, Terence Crawford should win this handily, I would say. I don't think this is a tougher test necessarily than Felix Diaz. I can't say that. I can't say this is a tougher test than Gamboa. Especially at that time. I can't say that. I can't say that off of Ricky Burns' win. I just have to be honest.
Well.
Mm-hmm.
Hipster Hunter. Backpedaling, he does now, but I didn't expect you to pick on Dongo, to be honest with you. You know, anybody that tries to stick that one on you would be unfair. Terence Crawford's skill is obviously levels above Julius, but there's that what if factor with Julius. We don't know really what it is that he brings to the table because of that level of opposition. But credit Terence Crawford and Julius Indongo getting in there. Which one? This one falls on what, the 15th, 16th, something like that?
Yeah,
of August?
It's not this weekend or the first weekend of August.
Lomachenko first, then the following, right?
Yes.
Something like that.
Lomachenko's the 4th, I believe.
I think you're wrong on that. I think he's the 5th. This is the producer making multiple mistakes.
I don't have him up. I'm just throwing numbers out, man. Off the dome. Come on.
Just note, it's going to be interesting, man, because Crawford has really shown that not necessarily a 10-1, but that 10-1 is pretty fair. I mean, he made Felix Diaz look like he didn't belong in the ring. Whenever you start tapping on your opponent like that, I mean, you're growing bored. I mean, you're having fun, obviously, but you feel no danger. And probably due to the ass whooping he gave Felix Diaz his last time out, and Diaz being such a adorable guy in the minds of hipsters like yourself, and he spanked them. So they're like, you know what? We're not going to – the betting – and look, we said it last night. 5-1 was Broner Garcia when it opened up. This one is 10-1, and they usually get it right.
And very quickly, just to put in comparison, these Felix Diaz's last opponent with Julius Indongo, Felix Diaz fought Lamont Peterson, and regardless of that, the scoring of that fight, a majority of people thought he won that bout. That's Lamont Peterson, and the best win on Julius Indongo's record is Ricky Burns, and that's Ricky Burns of 2017. And we all know Ricky Burns, A, is not an A-level fighter, and B, his prime was, what, 4 or 5 years ago? So we just have to be honest about the situation. We do not know about Julius Indongo. I'm not saying he's not good, but he is still way more of a question mark than Felix Diaz. Felix Diaz was proven to be a top 10 opponent at 140. And like you said, Crawford spanked him. I mean, figuratively, obviously, not literally, but we
haven't even seen him back since or heard from him.
Yeah. And he outclassed, I mean, that type of showing, and similar to the Victor Postal, where it was almost a 10-2 decision, a 11-1 decision.
Has he come back, or we haven't heard from him since that ass whooping either, right?
Who?
Postal.
Yeah, we have not heard from him as well.
He's retiring, dudes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think 10-1's egregious. I really don't think it's egregious. It's only egregious looking at other fights this month.
You know, I wish we would have did a little more research before this in the green room. Not really research, just talking, so that maybe we could have came up with a better, not a better, but at least a prop bet on how you could get some money out of Terence Crawford, because at 10-1, man, you ain't gonna make nothing.
I can look some up really fast.
Yep. Well, that definitely shocked me, though, to see that Crawford was that big of a favorite. I mean, I think I expected it in a way, but definitely was taken back. You know, the draw is 25-1. Believe that?
Yeah, I can believe that.
Julius Indongo is a 6-1. He pays.
That's already changed.
What?
That's 6-1
for Julius. What is he?
Sports. You're using Sky Sports, right?
Yeah. That's because
it's already changed to 11-2.
Wow. They want you to put some money down on him. They like, please lay some down, please.
I'm trying to find some prop bets, but Paddy Power doesn't have any, and I usually go to Paddy Power. I'm gonna go to some other sites.
Paddy Power. Man, you know, this fight it's kind of going under the radar too, right? Like, I haven't really felt any hype for this. Have you seen any promo videos? Have they done anything? For this fight, for this show, I was looking for the fight poster. They're really scarce on fight posters. They don't have anything sexy out there. What about you? You're feeling the promotion on this one?
No, not at all. I haven't seen really any commercials. I haven't heard any radio ads. I haven't heard really any of that sort. Now, maybe by fight week or maybe a couple days before the fight or the day of the fight, you're going to see an uptick in those sorts of ads. But they should start getting on it about now. It's around the 2-week mark. They need to start really getting on this promotion and start selling this fight, because regardless of what maybe I might say, especially in comparing it to like the Mike Garcia, Adrian Broner fight on the last show we did, this fight does have some meaning and some significance. It is a unification of all the major belts of the 140-pound division, regardless of that division's depth and legacy of that division. That is still an accomplishment in and of itself.
Has the Ring come out and said that they're going to put the Ring lineal title? That should be out.
Wait, isn't? Danny took that up, huh?
I don't know. According to what I'm reading, Crawford only has the WBC and WBO belts on the line, and obviously Indongo having that luxurious IBO, WBA, and IBF.
Well, technically, the lineal champ, not the Ring, but the lineal champ of 140 is now Keith Thurman. Technically speaking,
140,
because he beat the lineal champ. That's how lineal works.
But it doesn't work. Like when you move up,
you don't vacate the lineal. Like, you're still the guy. Danny Garcia was still the guy when he moved up.
He can't take the Ring belt, bro.
I said lineal. I didn't say Ring.
I hear you. It would be interesting to see, do they at least present the winner with it. This one will be in Nebraska. How far is Nebraska from LA for you? I know, right? I know that Crawford sells the house out over there in the Pinnacle Bank Arena, but
it's so far.
Yeah, right.
You're talking about over halfway across the country.
I think it makes more sense for them to keep going to his hometown. Like you bringing him over here to New York City.
He's not doing well,
and he's not doing the numbers. You know what I mean? At least on TV, it looks magnificent.
Maybe they need to start again. I keep mentioning this market that really doesn't get used is Atlanta. Nebraska really is in the South. That's more the Midwest, in my opinion. But the Midwest really doesn't have a huge market. We're gonna make them go to Cincinnati or Illinois. You're gonna make them go to Chicago and something like that with a bigger market that's close by. I don't think Chicago really is a boxing town. Atlanta is more of a metropolitan area. It's a richer area. It's higher per capita. So I think that could be an area that you can try out. Again, you got to try something out with him. He can't stay in Nebraska his whole career. I'm sorry. Like, you just can't. Unless he's fine with that. If he's fine with that, then we don't care. Because if he comes out and says, I'm totally okay with being in Nebraska my whole career, I'm totally okay with selling 13,000 seats for maybe $1 million gate and doing 1 million views on HBO or wherever I'm at. Like, maybe he's okay with that. And that's fine.
Honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
There's not. It's only wrong if he's not okay with it. Because then those are
all good metrics, man. 1 million, at the gate, 1 million on TV, all good metrics for me. Did you know he was already 29?
I knew he was in his late 20s.
Now, Crawford's had a very nice ascension, right? Like, in retrospect, you look back and it's like, oh, name. Everyone on that resume. I wonder if 2 years from now, some of these guys that are watching boxing, when Crawford moves up to 47 and is, in that 47 mix, will these casual fans remember names like Andres Klimov,
no,
Henry Lundy,
no,
Victor Postal,
no,
Gary Jean,
no?
Like, would they think, man, this guy hasn't fought anybody when they look back at this resume?
Think about the narrative.
I think this is a nice resume. Like, it's, you know, again, in retrospect, you look at it, it's like Felix Diaz, John Molina, Victor Postal, Hank Lundy, Derry Jean, Thomas Delorme, Ray Beltran, Urocus Gamboa, Ricky Burns, Andre Klimov. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Now I'm going to name off some names. Angel Manfredi, Diego Corrales.
I remember Angel Manfredi.
Gotti.
Floyd Mayweather. Arturo Gotti. I remember him.
There's
Who
a
else
point
you
there
said?
that Diego Corrales, Arturo Gotti, those guys.
Hell yeah. Who doesn't remember him? He was 30-0 when he fought Floyd. He was tall as hell. He died on a motorcycle. People, I again, I'm a hardcore though. We're asking this question for casuals, right?
Exactly. Think about Floyd's narrative going into the Oscar De La Hoya fight. He was more of the hardcore guy. He was the darling in a sense. Yes, he was starting to become the casual draw, but he was coming for that spot. He was coming for that spot of the superstar, which Oscar had, because he fought the big names. Crawford sort of has that similar like effect where he's faced a lot of good guys, but in 10 years from now, a lot of casuals that are going to get into the sport won't recognize that these guys are good. They won't recognize that Thomas Delorme or Derry Jean or any of these guys are good fighters. They won't recognize that. Now, if he goes up to 147, beats Keith Thurman, beats Sean Porter, beats Danny Garcia, those are the names that we're going to start talking about and we're going to remember. These guys, not necessarily. The Felix Diaz's, the Victor Postals, all those names are hardcores. Casuals will never recognize those names.
And you know what? Out of all those names, and it's a pretty decent amount, maybe 10 names. One with Andre, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 10 names. You can't say any of them are A-listers. And, you know, maybe a Crawford fan would argue that Ricky and Urokis are A-sides, or once upon a time were A-listers or elites. But it could be argued that that none of those guys are A-level. None of them.
Gamboa is still his biggest name.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I guess with that, we might as well just open up the phone lines because, I mean, we were only talking about 10-1, and it is what it is. Let's see what the public thinks. We'll go out to the sponsors, and then obviously a straight to the callers.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Going out to Shandu. What's going on, my friend? Shandu, New York City, talk to us. Uh-oh, probably on that bike. Let's go to Jersey. Talk to us.
Yo, fellas, good show, good topic. Let me burn for a second. You got to remember the context of which Terence Crawford ascended to the top of the 140-pound division. When he first got that fight, that big fight that made us even say, who's this kid? He was fighting Brady's Prescott, who, depending on who you ask, Crawford might have been thrown to the wolves to give Prescott another run to get knocked out by somebody else, or Terence Crawford took that opportunity. Because remember, he took the fight on short notice. It was an HBO fight. They didn't want to cancel the date. He jumped in there, and he made short work of Prescott. Mind you, a faded Brady's Prescott, but he made short work of him. Okay. Then people say, this kid's all right. I don't remember the fight after that. It might have been the Delorme fight. You guys could check that. Might have been the Delorme fight. Then it was Burns. And the boy kept winning. He made himself a name. He made himself a contender. Every fight that he jumped into. And then we started looking at his skill set and noticing, damn, he's going southpaw. And then the comparison started to grow. So I think the names, true. The names for hardcores is going to resonate. Even if you take a step back, the casuals might not remember it, but, you talk about who was available, and I know it was a bit of a more Cold War back then, but who was available at 140, he was still fighting at 135. Then he moved up. But I think for that Prescott fight, I think he was supposed to fight that fight at 147. He only came in there at like 138. So he built his legend on literally coming out of nowhere and displaying boxing skills. Yes, Gamboa by name is his biggest fight, and I think he did very good in a fight against, you know, a decent Gamboa. Gamboa had been on the shelf for 14 months at that time. You know, the fact that he's a 10, I know the show is about 10-1, but we started talking about resume. The reason why he's 10-1 is because I think that people know that and they see that. You put somebody that's supposed to be the boogeyman in front of Terence Crawford, and he makes short work of him. So I'm not surprised that it's 10-1. I hope y'all do another show later or something talking about his resume as we move closer to that Indongo fight. That's my call.
All right, I mean, thanks for calling in. Matt, I mean, he mentioned the resume show.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm interested in that.
Really?
I think I can be Amin's worst nightmare on that show. Think I can. Larry, San Francisco, talk to me.
Big up to the Boxing Voice. Thanks again, fellas, for another show. Yeah, 10-1 is on point. It's nice that this is a big undisputed championship fight, but the bottom line is it's Terence Crawford versus Julius Indongo. That's a mismatch. Crawford is one of the best fighters in the world. At lowest, he's number 3 pound for pound for me. So yeah, him versus anybody at 140 is a mismatch. So yeah, 10-1 is just about right. In terms of his resume and all that, it is a really good resume. I agree with whoever said that. But the thing is, he's at 140 pounds. 140 is not the division where you're ever going to be a star. You want to start making stars and talking about pay-per-views and all that kind of stuff, you got to get to 147. That's an historical thing. It's a now thing. 147 is where it's at and where it starts. 140 is nice. There's been a lot of nice fighters there, but you ain't making stars out of 140. So Crawford will continue to kick tail and take names while he's there, but it's not until he gets up to 147 where the big boys start to play is when he's really going to make a name for himself and build that legacy. Appreciate it, y'all. I'm out.
Well, according to Larry's logic, stars are not made until 47, but that would be wrong because Danny and Broner are considered stars. Or are you not a star unless you sell pay-per-views?
Well, hold on. Was Broner a star to the real casual people that watch football, the people that watch baseball, not just the casual boxing fans that call in this show, people that do not know of the Boxing Voice, those people that watch boxing occasionally a couple times a year?
Absolutely. I think Danny and Broner.
Danny wasn't known to Lucas Matisse. Really?
I think Danny and damn, so sorry. I think Danny and Broner have both transcended a long time ago. You could tell that from the company that they keep their social media.
I'm not arguing that they're not stars. Hold on. I'm arguing the timeline.
If we go to Crawford, I'm gonna say he's at about 100K on Instagram. I don't even know, but you tell me if I'm wrong.
You don't understand my questioning. I'm not questioning whether they are stars or not, because Danny Garcia and obviously Adrian Broner are stars. That's without question. But I'm arguing about. I'm just saying like under 140, under 147, they were, because remember when Danny was at 140, people were calling him out at 47. Like Danny Garcia, I'll introduce you to welterweight. You know what I'm saying? Same thing for Broner. Keith Thurman called out Broner on the same day that he was supposed to fight Maidana, right before, no one knew Maidana was gonna win. Keith Thurman was on undercard versus Carras. I interviewed him, called him out. Everybody who interviewed Keith Thurman, he called Broner out. He said, I want the winner. You do understand that Larry's point overall is kind of true. That relatively speaking, there are fewer stars below the welterweight division than there are above it. That 147 seems to be that limit to where if you're below welterweight, it is harder to become a star. Not that's impossible.
I'm saying this. I'm saying what Larry says makes sense, but there are certain fighters.
Yes, true. But obviously, Terence Crawford isn't Danny or Broner, especially not Broner. Come on.
I'm not even arguing that. I'm just saying there are fighters that are underneath 147 have been able to get that star at least appeal. Marcus in DC, talk to me.
in the gas station right now.
All righty. We're going to Mike Jerry. Talk to us.
I'm just listening, fellas.
All right. Let's go down. Is that your friend, Matt?
Yes.
All right.
Yo, first of all, let me say, I don't play Showtime to see you all there not even putting a goddamn motherfucking effort. If I want to see some motherfucker just fight, I pick up a fight with somebody in the street. Don't need that shit. You don't love that form I do? Just move along. Gone. Fuck you. Next. What a great show. Thumbs up, donate. Hey, yo! The hell is cracking today? Fucking mismatches left and right, B. Yo. 10 and 1. What's up with that?
What's happening, people?
Buddy. Yo, man, how the fuck this man? And then go get 20 wins, right? No losses.
Yes.
I think it's 22.
We know fucking Crawford gonna smoke. We know Crawford gonna smoke him, but goddamn, 10 to fucking 1.
Yeah.
You think that's a little excessive?
I'll put it this way. Is Indongo less likely to beat Terence Crawford than Broner was to beat Mikey?
I think. And Dango never lost. That's what I'm saying. So if you never fucking lost, you should be better than.
But who've you fought? That's the question. You can be undefeated, but fight no one.
Yo, they got it right, bro. I mean, Indongo's older, shorter. Crawford's younger, taller, better, longer arms, better resume. I mean, you know.
Everything Indongo does, Crawford does 10 times better at least.
Crawford, I mean, Indongo, Crawford is Indongo, only younger. He did it before Indongo.
But this is what I'm saying, though. Indongo, this is a unification. Indongo got belts.
Yeah.
He got 3 of the belts that you always call in here discussing.
You got a O. You got a O and you got belts, bro. They have to. I don't get it, man. It's fucking. It's Vega to have a fucking quantum computing. These niggas going fucking D-wave, going to another parallel universe and extracting information from there that we don't fucking know.
No, that's.
I mean, do you feel that the betting line should be different? Do you feel it should be different? What do you think it should be?
He's holding out.
What are your lines? Yeah, what are your betting lines, Georgie?
Thing is, Broner that ain't holding no fucking O and holding no belt.
Georgie.
Yeah, but Broner faced better opposition, bro. Broner faced better opposition.
Georgie, what should the betting line be for this fight?
Yo, Dougie got an O, though.
Yo, you brainwashed, man.
That's come on. He's gonna argue this point to his death.
He's brainwashed. He's brainwashed by Floyd. Doggy got an O. Because you brainwashed by Floyd. Doggy got an O.
Yo, man, I'm gonna let you be. Everybody out there enjoy, support, and donate.
Yo, why you ain't signed a contract yet? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Look, you fucking ducker. Horrible. They don't want to sign that contract, man. 10-1. That's what we talking. We going to Young Sal. What's up, brother?
What's up with you guys, fellas?
What up, Sal?
And that's I heard you say that. What's up, man? My bad. What's up, man?
It's okay.
I heard you say that Indongo is the same height as Crawford, or Crawford's taller.
Yeah, I thought Crawford was taller, but Indongo was taller by like a half inch or something like that.
It's saying on Box Track that Terence is like 5'8", and Indongo like 5'10" and a half and shit.
Yep, 5'10" and a half.
That's 2.5 inches.
2.5. Yeah, I thought it was high. I thought I seen Crawford at 5'10".
We on Wikipedia?
The arm length,
and the reach is longer for Indongo. He's at 179 centimeters.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. That's the reach. Let me see. Oh, yeah, his reach is longer. He's 181 centimeters.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
none of that shit ain't gonna mean nothing, though.
I mean, we see.
You got to know how to use all that.
Not gonna mean that because look what you got to see. Remember what he did at Postal, and Postal was taller than him by quite a bit, if not the same as Indongo. I don't remember Postal's exact height, but I remember he was a lot taller than Terence. And I mean, just look at Terence's body of work, bro. Look what he did. I know Gamboa is a smaller guy, and I think he even brought Gamboa up, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, he brought a lot of people up. That's why that resume show would be very interesting.
Yeah, it's just like one of those things. I mean, people can argue about it, but then when he finally did get in there with some good opposition at 140, when he went in there against Postal, he didn't beat him, bro. He dominated the fuck out of that guy. Bad. Knocked him down a couple times. You know what I mean? And then he fought Felix Diaz, and me, myself, I thought Felix Diaz was the best opponent today as far as boxing-wise. And he did the same to him, bro. I mean, they had to call the fight off. So, I mean, I feel that Crawford has proven himself, bro. I mean, that's 10 or 11 or 2 now? That shit sounds about right, to be honest with you. If any, I wouldn't even be surprised if he had that Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson type odds. You know what I mean? I doubt he's gonna take that loss, bro. He's just way too skilled. He's just a fucking perfect fighter, bro. He's aggressive when he needs to be, and he's way too skilled, man. That's just how I see it.
Well, all right, Sal. Thanks for calling in. Let me go out to Skype. We got Lloyd. I want to check in. Talk to us.
Yo, guys.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm cool. To be honest, after the Adrian Broner performance on the weekend, I really turned off boxing. But when I saw the message come through on my YouTube to say 10-1, I think that's just crazy. Those odds it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, the performance against Ricky Byrne was unbelievable. I think on one of the cards it was like 12-0 on one of the cards. So for him to then get a fight, a unification, and be a 10-1 underdog, I think it's really disrespectful personally. I don't think those odds should be that far. I think, the Garcia, bonus, those odds at 5-1. I think maybe 6 or 7-1, but 10-1, I don't think so. I mean, I'm still picking Terence Crawford to win the fight, but not 10-1 because he was all wrong for Ricky Burns. When he went in there, Ricky Burns was expected to win that fight because if you remember rightly, he was lining up the Adrian Broner fight himself. And Julius Indongo went in there, ripped up the script. So I don't know where those odds are coming from, guys, but I think 10-1's disrespectful considering he's a champion as well. Undefeated champion, 10-1, disrespectful. That's my call.
All right, Lloyd, thanks for calling in. Man, I want to side with him, but I can't. Again, like going over that record and that resume is just like your biggest win is like, I don't know, Crawford's the beginning, like when we really started taking notice. It was like, whoa, he went over there and beat the hell out of Ricky Burns. He didn't knock him out. Neither man knocked him out, which is interesting. Both got unanimous.
Has anyone knocked out Ricky Burns?
I'm just saying, neither man knocked him out, which is interesting. But, Crawford really did a number on Burns back then. And, talked about Crawford taking on that Prescott fight, which was, funny because that was in 2013, bro. He moved up in weight to 140, I believe. That fight was at 140 when he fought Prescott. And that was a long time ago, and he took that one just to, like, get on HBO. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, Crawford's been testing himself and proving that he's the goods, but he's got good old Bob, Bruce Trampler, and, my boy over there, Todd DeBuff. They definitely doing them right because Gamboa, he's the best one he's got in terms of name, star power, even skill, right? Like,
yeah,
skill. I mean, come on. If Crawford's resume was the pound for pound list, right? You would pick Gamboa over Felix Diaz. Even though Gamboa got that chin, this is what I'm saying, though. This is what I'm saying. Like, yo, Molina, even though Molina's a common opponent with Broner, you know what I mean? I mean, look, these are the people that are in boxing, so you can't really nitpick. He fought the guys in that division. Like
his record isn't bad.
John Molina is a puncher. John Molina is a puncher, but we knew he wasn't going to get to Crawford. But, you know, he's got to do it. He had to prove it. I mean, I like the resume.
Victor Postal is still a very good name on that record because of that Lucas Matisse win that he had.
I like the resume.
No one brings that up because of the way that fight ended up, but that win was big at that time.
What, the Postal?
Yeah. I'm not saying it's bigger than Gamboa. I'm just saying like that's one that matters. It's just one that matters. That's all.
I mean, you know who made that
matters
fight?
more than Delorme or Derry Jean or any of those guys.
Let's just be honest. That fight, the people made that fight matter because of
No. Postal made that fight matter because that Lucas Matisse win.
I don't even think so.
That
honestly, even though the win was solid, it was a great win. Actually, you know, it was a great win. But think about it, like we didn't know who Postal was until Danny started giving him step aside money. You know, his first fight was with Selçuk Aydin, I think.
Yeah, I want to say you're right about that.
You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Very quickly, one idea that I had in my head I want to throw out there. We're basing Julius Indongo really off of the Ricky Burns win. That's his best win, right?
That's all we got.
There's another guy that challenged for a title, challenge a undefeated, maybe pound for pound talent level fighter, and Mike Garcia against Dejan Zlaticanin. Zlaticina's best win was Ricky Burns. And look how that ended up. So to base Indongo and to bet the house on Indongo or to bet whatever on Indongo off of Ricky Burns, I think for a lot of people is the red line. You can't do that. And if you're out there trying to bet on Indongo, don't. This is a fight that you just stay away from, man. This is a fight that you don't want to bet on, period. Bet on another fight. Trust me.
At least it's a significant one that you can go ahead and
it's significant only because of the titles, though.
It's significant because of Crawford. Crawford is a star in the making, and what he's doing is going to be part of his legacy the way that it was part of Judah's legacy when he undisputed. And, you know, according to our thumbnail, Crawford has the Ring magazine. So, yeah, I guess he'll be sporting that one to the ring. But, yeah, man, final thoughts are 10-1. Some are saying disrespectful. I don't know. You know, I don't know. Crawford is what he is. He's as good as advertised. And like we said yesterday, we were shocked about Broner's 5-1, and boy, were they right. They were right. Broner didn't fight like a 2-1 yesterday or an even fight. I mean, he fought like a 5-1. So let's see if Crawford goes out and does another Felix Diaz-like performance. I'm your host, Nestor Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NestGTO. And for more exclusive content, head on over to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice.
And my final thoughts. I'll put it this way. Terence Crawford has obviously showed that he is levels and levels above everyone in his division. He showed that with the Felix Diaz win. This is food for him. Julius Indongo's food. And I love you, Julius Indongo. I love you. You're a great fighter. You're a great boxer, but you're just not on this level. Crawford is not going to face anyone that is competition until he moves up to 147. Even Mike Garcia won't beat him. Nobody under 147 pounds will be able to beat Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford's only challenge in his career is at 147 against the likes of Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Earl Spence. Those are his challenges. Those are the things that are going to define his legacy. This is a step on the way to actually defining his legacy. I cannot wait to see that version of Crawford. I am Matt Hipster Hunter. You can find me at Mixed Combat News on Twitter, Matt Hunter TBV on Instagram. My MMA podcast, Mixed Combat Radios on Patreon, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Facebook, etc. Peace.
Peace. You know what I want to say before we leave?
Overtime.
Crawford might fight Garcia. He's only got 7 fights in 140, and he had 9 at 135. And really, You know, I know we think he's good, but are we saying like, oh, Crawford moves up right now? He beats, you know, Thurman, Porter. Who else is up there? Danny. Who's the other welterweights?
The exact reason why you're asking that question, because I think most of us will say no, we cannot bet on that yet. Like, I don't think any of us can.
So he should wait for Garcia then.
Hold up. But that's the exact reason why he should move up and face some of those guys right now. Because he's done with this. This is nothing. This is not going to add anything to his
performance.
Hold on. Any more names at this level do nothing for him.
Mikey Garcia does nothing for him.
It does very little. It does a lot for us hardcores, but I think in the grand scheme of him becoming a truly great fighter, I don't know if Mikey's that.
There's no way.
Hold on, Keith Thurman is that. Earl Spence is that.
There's no way. There's no way Max Kellerman doesn't mention Mikey Garcia. Oh shit. There's no way. Well, maybe ESPN doesn't mention. No, ESPN will mention. They'll put all the top 40s up there on a graph.
You know Teddy will. You know Teddy.
Oh yeah, they're gonna mention him. I don't know, man. Look, if we were saying, yo, I can't wait for Crawford to beat Thurman right now, then it's different. But since people are not calling and saying that, yeah, why not stick around and beat Mikey? Anyway, we out.